it was Chicago and New York. If you got to those two places, somebody was going to hear about you.
Oh, wow. And, you know, and the sad thing, I'm about to probably break your heart a little bit, Phil. They sold the Chicago Defender building. It's no longer on Michigan Avenue. They have a new facility on Martin Luther King Drive. It's 4700 South. And every time I drive past that building, it kind of bothers me because I remember it used to be across the street from a nightclub. And that nightclub was a black-owned nightclub, and me and my friends always used to frequent that. And it was cool to look over. You know, you walk out of this establishment and you see the Chicago Defender, and you know the history that was in that building. And now it's a restaurant, and it really bothers me. But that's
man.
Right.
And times really changed.
Right.
Well, I tell you what. Well, look, that's an interesting story, and I can see how you feel that way because here in Kansas City, about last week, Satchel Paige's house burned down, and yeah, and you know I've been going past that for years, and knowing that Satchel lived there, and actually I used to see Satchel on the front porch and everything, and it caught on fire, and you know that was a sad thing for me. So I know I can just imagine how you feel when you go past there.
Yeah, it's just like, man, you know, it was one of those things, and I don't even think that people here in our community even understand how great a city Chicago is for people that look like me. I really don't think we really dig into Roosevelt Road. Like I'm from the west side of Chicago, and people don't understand the history that goes into Roosevelt Road, the Broadway Strand. I can't remember the theater that was on St. Louis, not Central Park and Roosevelt Road. How at one point Roosevelt Road and Black America, it was like Harlem. And I don't even think that people from the west side and people from Chicago understand how valuable the west side of Chicago is to our history. So we would definitely have to.
You're dead. You're right on it because Jack Johnson, when he won the World Championship, he was living in Chicago.
Yeah. See.
So it's a good.
People don't understand that. You know, even my fellow Chicagoans from our community, we don't get the gist of our history in our own city, and that's sad. That's I won't say sad, but it's disappointing. It's disappointing that we don't appreciate the history in our hometown.
Right. But, still a lot of work to be done, isn't it?
I'm working with you though. That's the thing. Me and you, we're gonna do it together, and that's why I started this show because I'm tired of people not knowing. And there is no issue. With the internet, we can Google recipes, we can Google how to fix anything on earth, we can Google anything we want, YouTube anything we want. And now it's time to start communicating and start disseminating this information so ignorance is only a choice, not a fact. You know, it's not something that you can't plead ignorance anymore. And I'll do everything I can to help promote and do everything I can to put our community on board with our history, our rich history, and hopefully they continue to build pride and put us in a situation so we can continue to grow as a community as well as a nation.
Yes, I can understand that. So well, anytime you need to talk, we can do a history talk, and there's lots of this. This America is a great place for history. I tell you, there's so much history here. It baffles you, and it baffles me how much I don't know, and how much I wish I knew.
And it's funny that you say that because I fashion myself a guy who's a sports historian, a guy who's in the know, and you've given me 4 to 6 people tonight. I've never even heard of their names. And Ruth Foster in my town, I'm shamed. And I'm not going to lie to you, I'm shamed. I'm like, what? This is a guy who's in my hometown. He's in my backyard. The whole Jack Johnson thing. I knew Muhammad Ali had a home here. I knew Chicago was a place like I remember seeing a program that they were saying Chicago was the epicenter of Black Renaissance in the section they call Bronzeville now, but I didn't know that everybody who wanted to be somebody through over the last 120 years wanted to be here, and that's crazy, which gives me even more pride in my city and more pride in my culture. But it's definitely heartwarming to know these things.
Great.
So thank you again, Phil, man. It's truly been a pleasure talking to you, and I'll give you a call out to the show so we can talk more and set up more, situations. And I can't wait to talk to you more and keep it moving.
All right, then. Well, thanks for the opportunity to come on, and always enjoy having to talk about baseball. I love the game truly, and I think probably the only thing I love more is meeting people, and I love people as well.
Man, thank you, Phil. God bless. You continue to have a wonderful evening. I look forward to being your friend and communicating about this and learning and expounding on information that I don't even know. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Have a nice evening. Okay, bench warmers. And then I know a lot of people not into baseball, and you call it slow and things of that nature. But if you listen to that interview, you definitely understand not why I like baseball, but you can understand where baseball can give you a sense of pride. Baseball was our game from 1942 when you look at 1942 when they first let Jackie Robinson play up until today. The greatest players in the world have looked like me and the people of my community, and that's not to slight anyone. It's just the fact. It's just we play a major role in the history of this country. We play a major role in the history of the world, and sports can give you a jump-off point to establish more pride in your community, more pride in yourself, putting yourself in a position. Now, you learn these things about Rule Foster. You learn these things about what's some of the names. I wrote some of them down. You learn these things about Rule Foster. You learn these things about Grant Home Run Johnson, and these young men, these men, these legendary men from my community. And this will make you go left. So you're digging about the Negro League baseball player, but now you're looking at the promoter, the brother who built his own stadium, the brother who did promotion for not only baseball and boxing, the brother who started his own football league. These are some of the things that when your children and you and your nieces and nephews and cousins and uncles, they find out these things, it establishes pride. So when you establish that pride, it could potentially cut down on some of the violence in our community. It could potentially cut down on some of the dropout rate in our community, because you see, if somebody can do something in the 1800s, somebody directly out of Reconstruction, somebody can do something in the 1900s, in the midst of the Jim Crow era, something to do in the 1940s, in the midst of people, thousands of our brothers and sisters being lynched every day, in the Civil Rights era, and now we're in this era now. There's never a need to give up. There's never a reason to give up. So, man, look into the information that we received tonight, because the information we received tonight has been a true blessing to you. And again, you can look at it one or two ways. You can say, hey, it's just sports, or you can look at it and say, hey, sports could lead to something bigger. All you have to do is look at the brother LeBron James to figure that out. And you'll see that if you use sports properly, not only can you be successful, you don't have to just be an athlete. You don't have to be a runner, a jumper, a thrower. You can be an entrepreneur. You can be a movie producer. You can be a television producer. You can be a sports agent. You can be a sports attorney. You can get into sports law. You can be like the Podfather, a.k.a. Combat Jack by the name of Reggie Osei. Rest in peace, brother. But, you could be your man B, H-R-B. You can start your own end of the bench. You ain't going to be dope as me, but that's a whole nother situation. But since we're talking sports, And we're talking a football league that was started by people in my community. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the President of the United States rescinding an invitation after he is invited the Eagles to the White House.
I'm not going to be able to do.
Exactly. They told him they're not going to be able to do it. Only if they were going to have a faction of 10 people to show up. I understand. See, shout out to the people who are not involved in the protest, who still were not going to go, even the guys who were going to go. Because, look, at the end of the day, in my lifetime, I don't know about the generation before me and the generation after me. In my lifetime, this is part of the process. You work your behind off to get to the league. You get to the league, you establish some form of camaraderie while you're in the league. You start winning. You establish, you go through all the rigors of winning. You get to the playoffs, lose once or twice. You lose once or twice, you get back to the playoffs, work your way to the championship round. Win the championship round, you have a parade, and the next thing is to go see the president. Due to the fact that the president has such a divisive nature, people, and he's making, all I heard over the last 10, 15, 20 years, sports and politics shouldn't mix. Sports and politics shouldn't mix. So I even heard some jackass on GCI when MC Light was there. Shout out to MC Light. You always got to give respect to hip-hop. Some jackass on GCI or whatever, whoever's reporting the Legends Festival was talking about when I turn on, and this a dude who's a melanated complexion. I ain't gonna call him a brother because he's stupid ass things like this. He's not a brother. I turn on football and I don't want to hear about that. First of all, bruh, when you turn on football, your black ass is sitting there drinking and eating nachos while they playing the national anthem. So you ain't respecting the damn thing either. And if you just gonna jump in and just be uneducated, in the event that something happens to someone you're close to or somebody you love, you remember that stupid ass statement. You want to just watch the game. Man, these dudes are putting their livelihood, their future, and their finances in jeopardy. So people that look like us will have somebody that just willing to stand up for them, and all you have to say is you don't want them, you don't care about it, and you want to separate your weak from politics. Look, somebody kneeling at the national anthem, nobody's paying attention to that. But allow me to digress. Donald Trump has made this thing a issue. The NFL relating. So with me, I have an issue not only with the President of the United States stepping up and intervening and the dumbass people that fall in line that, you're disrespecting the flag and this, that, and the third. First and foremost, the only time you can disrespect the flag is to turn your back on the flag. That's disrespectful. To not honor the flag, that's disrespectful. You want me to stand up and salute a song that is telling people of my color, we wish we could get you to being here and kill you. So, first of all, maybe we need to redo that, and then don't tell me I can't protest, because you know what? And don't tell me I can't stand up for my rights, because there's a mental health month, there's a domestic violence month in the NFL, there's a special needs month, and there's a cancer month in the NFL. Ain't that politics and sport? We taking time out to acknowledge people who need our assistance, whether it be physically hurting, medical assistance, mental illness, or what have you. We're doing these things. So how about injustice, social injustice, human rights? Because to quote Dr. Clark, and who the hell is civil? I don't know civil. I've never heard of civil, so don't tell me about no damn civil rights. I don't need these are human rights. These are my inalienable rights as a human being. Respect me as a person, not a piece of property. And if the President of the United States and the people who support them don't understand that, again, in the event that someone does harm to someone in your family or in your culture, don't turn to other cultures